This program is brought to you by Emory University.
I'm to put a team together and do our best to protect buildings, bridges, and art before the Nazis destroy everything. You can wipe out an entire generation, you can burn their homes to the ground, and somehow they'll still find their way back. But if you destroy their history, you destroy their achievements, then it's as if they never existed. That's what Hitler wants. That is exactly what we're fighting for.
The movie The Monuments Man is about a military unit that tried to salvage Europe's cultural heritage in the later stages of the Second World War, and it was made up of rather unlikely heroes. I mean, you know, professorial types, people who in their civilian lives were more likely to deliver an art lecture or run a museum or run a library than to prowl around in war zones. So the first officers arrived in Italy in late 1943. Others followed after the Normandy invasion and arrived in France. And once the Allied troops crossed the Rhine River into the Rhineland, into Germany, their task really became one of assessing the damage and writing obituaries for medieval churches, for monasteries. And it was also in the Rhineland where 2 monuments officers were actually killed. I mean, you know, the war was still going on, and they were in the middle of combat, and as any military buff who might be watching knows very well, the fighting along the Rhine was just fierce. So the biggest find of the Monuments Man was in a salt mine called Merkers in Thuringia. And in that salt mine they found the entire gold supply of Nazi Germany. But much more valuable than the gold was actually the artwork. This mine contained all the masterpieces from the Berlin museums, from the Kaiser Friedrich Museum. It contained the Egyptian collection, including the famous head of Queen Nefertiti. And Merkers was located in a region called Thuringia. And Thuringia would become part of the Soviet zone of occupation. Back at the Conference of Yalta, the Allies had decided that, you know, they would divide up Germany into 4 parts, and the eastern part would fall to the Soviets. But Patton's Third Army had advanced well into that territory, and it was clear that they have to withdraw from it again. So Merkers was in the part that would fall to the Russians, and therefore the generals decided to evacuate all the art and all the gold from Merkers and move it to Frankfurt and to other places, because they just didn't want it to fall to the Russians. When the war was over, their task became to return all this art to the legitimate owners, and to that for that purpose they set up collecting points where they collected all the artwork and started to catalog it, started to administer first aid to damaged pieces. The movie certainly has room for entertainment. I mean, it's just a great story how some art professors retrieve a stolen Rembrandt or return a displaced Monet. But apart from the entertainment value that every Hollywood movie obviously needs to have, the film also raises some issues that are really of sad and urgent relevance to all of us today. As we speak in February 2014, the cultural heritage of Syria is being destroyed in a bloody civil war. The historic bazaar of Aleppo is no more, destroyed in September 2012. Historic mosques, ancient cities, ancient temples, places that the UNESCO has designated as World Heritage Sites are irretrievably lost. And so The Monuments Man isn't just another tale of the Second World War, it is that too, but the issues it raises, the vulnerability of and the danger to cultural artifacts during wartime is not safely located in some distant past, but really has stayed with us. So the art and culture remain targets in today's wars, and that is kind of an underlying issue that the film is alerting us to.